Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Michael Atkinson, coach and owner at CrossFit Novato. We operate a 5,000 square foot facility in lovely Novato, California, and our mission is to coach people to personal empowerment through health and fitness. We believe that when people feel better physically, they feel better mentally and spiritually, and they are able to pursue the dreams that are planted in their heart. The intention of the CrossFit Novato podcast is to inspire people to take action towards improving their health and fitness by hearing stories from other people, both inside and outside of our community, that have done just that. All right, you guys, welcome to the CrossFit Novato podcast. I'm your host, Michael Atkinson. Today's episode is a short solo episode. You are going to hear some background noise because we have our 6:30 a.m. class finishing up right now, and Coach Christelle is coaching. So you're definitely going to hear some background noise, but that's okay. So today's episode is about taking charge of your life. And what does it mean to take charge of your life? Well, when I was a young man in a recovery program, I was so upset at all of the things that happened to me at that point. I was forced to be in this program for at least 1 year. I was forced to follow house rules and curfew and all of those things. And I wasn't allowed to contact my friends or family. I was basically a prisoner against my will. Or at least that's what I thought. That was my mindset. My mindset was, I have to, I can't. The reality is I could have left the program at any time. There were no guards, no gates, no locks, and no chains. No one would have come after me. I could have broken the rules. A lot of my peers did. There were guys that were, sneaking out at night, making calls from the job sites we were on, sneaking drugs into the program. There were a lot of those things that I could have done. But I chose not to because all of these things had consequences. And the immediate consequence was me being remanded back into my probation officer's custody and then going back to court to possibly be sentenced to prison. The director of the program, he used to tell us all the time that we could leave anytime we wanted. We didn't have to be there. And he only wanted those of us who wanted to be there. None of us were prisoners, but some of us still chose to be. Some of us chose to be held there against our will. But when we sat in our groups and talked about the concept of taking responsibility for our lives, that's when I chose to not be a prisoner. Taking responsibility for your lives is a scary concept. When you take responsibility for everything that happens to you, you have no one else to blame. Not your spouse, not your circumstances, or even the postman, right? It's a concept that I think is often lost today, right? The media, I think, has a huge part to play in that. And I don't know, just a lot about, I think this generation is like, these things happen to us, like, poor me, poor us, right? And it's not to say that you can't have compassion or empathy for people, but, it's easy to lose your power in that. It's easy to just be like, this thing has happened to me. I'm a victim. And when that happens, that sucks because you also can't get yourself out of that situation. So when you choose to not be a victim, when you choose to not be a victim of circumstance or happenstance, then you have the power to change the thing you want to change in your life. So it's much easier to blame things when we have no control over the results that we experience. We were born into poverty. We didn't have the opportunity. We are the victim. And yeah, there are realities. Some of us do come from more privilege and opportunity than others. And yet, for every person who says they can't, there is someone in the same circumstances or worse that has proven them wrong. I mean, you hear about it all the time. I like Eliud Kipchoge. He's a runner. I think I said his name right, but he's from one of those African countries. And that man comes from poverty, from not having anything literally, and he still chooses to live a very modest life, and he's like one of the fastest guys in the world. So at distance running, I think not even far distance, but it's impressive to see someone like that. And by all accounts, he had no reason to succeed, but he did, right? I'm the son of two parents who came from other countries out of poverty. My dad's side of the family, especially, growing up, didn't have food to eat, and he had um, eight other brothers and sisters, and then my mom's side had nine. And similar circumstance, they came here from other countries in poverty, and somehow were able to be successful in raising us. And I'm not rich, but being a business owner is a huge accomplishment in our family. Um, I'm also a former criminal street gang member, and I married a person who describes himself as a goody two shoes. So I share that to say that, if I could do it, if some of these people can do it, you can do it. And I'm not special, or at least not more special than you are. I have had a lot of help along the way, but I think that everyone that is successful does, even though it sounds a whole lot sexier to say you did it on your own and you had no help. I mean, the reality is, like, in life, you're gonna have help because you're gonna meet people along the way. Whether you choose to be grateful and recognize it or not is another story. But I was on my own in the recovery program, but I found mentors there. And I was alone when I moved to Nevada, but I also found mentors here. And now I'm not alone. I have a whole tribe of people that surround me. And we all have our I can't, right? That's probably something that's never going to change, but just being aware of them and aware of you having the power to change them is huge. I can't quit my job that I hate because I need money, even if I don't make what I want to make. I can't find time to exercise because I have to do this thing instead. I can't make this big life transition because what if this happens? Well, what if we change our I can'ts to I choose not to's? I choose not to quit the job I hate because change is uncomfortable. I choose not to make the time to exercise because I prioritize this other thing instead. I choose not to make this big life transition because I choose to be paralyzed by the fear of uncertainty. Doesn't that sound different? Isn't it scary to take full accountability for our choices? But here's the deal. Within that uncomfortableness, we have the choice to make a different choice. Sure, we have no one to blame for our errors, but we also have no one to ask for our permission and no one to thank but ourselves for our success. How empowering is that? Maybe this is the moment that you decide to take charge of your life. Maybe this is the moment that you decide to take that responsibility and you find a different result. Have a good day.